So setting, we'll talk a little bit more, but setting boundaries against energies and entities is just as important as setting boundaries against living humans in your life. Um, and it's all about your intention. And um, it is important before you start to clear your home, that you do meditate and get yourself into balance before you attempt to um, confront negative beings or spirits or energies to remove them from your home. Um, Now, one of the number one ways that we hear people talk about clearing the energy of their homes is smudging. It can clear negative energies and negative entities, and there are different types of things that you burn, for different, to have a different effect, to get rid of energies or actual beings that have invaded your home. And Stacy, what do you want to talk about some of the smudging methods that?
Yeah, a lot of these methods come from all kinds of different indigenous tribes. I've learned a lot. Of course, a lot of people use sage. So white sage, this is some white sage leaves. A lot of times it'll come like this. This one's actually cedar. But the white sage, that will help eliminate negative entities. The cool thing about sage is that it also is antimicrobial and antibacterial. So it will actually purify the air, like on a physical level as well. Let's see,
Palo Santo?
this.
That's
Palo
for negative
Santo.
beings, right?
Yeah.
That's very effective for negative.
Right. This is
beings.
effective for negative entities also. I love Palo Santo. It smells so good. So burning it like this can be difficult. So I actually purchased online some Palo Santo. It's like shavings. Yeah. It smells so good. I try to get them naturally or sustainably sourced. Let's see. So that's cedar is also good. It says it brings happy feeling to your home, but it will also get rid of the negative entities. Sweet grass. I have a friend that burns sweet grass a lot. And I looked this up, and this will actually attract positive entities to you.
And natives also burn tobacco.
Yes.
And they use tobacco to connect with entities. So
for spirit communication.
For communicating.
With their spirit
If
guides.
you're wanting to kick them out.
Right. And
yeah,
see, this will attract. This also says it opens your heart. It's they say it's I saw it had a relation to the feminine as well. It smells really good when it's burned. But I mean, if you're going after eliminating, getting negative things out of your life, I would start with the cedar, sage, or Palo Santo. So I've invested in one of these just because it's kind of fun. It's a little cauldron, and using this method, you have to use a briquette. So I'm gonna go ahead and light it up. It takes a minute, but this briquette on the other side has a little place, a little well where you can put the Palo Santo sawdust, dust. And then I also have, here, name off what I got down there. I have a sacred smudge mixture that I found here locally, and it's got like the Palo Santo little wood pieces. It has frankincense and dragon's blood.
What is that?
I'd have to look, it's a resin. I'd have to look it up and see.
Yeah, frankincense,
what it's
amber
for.
resin.
I kind of got all the resins so I can make my own sacred smudge
And you can mix them.
mixture. Yeah, absolutely.
But normally we have Marissa do this.
I've relied on her. She got so good at it a few years ago that
we had so many intrusions.
she would sage and it would feel so much better. It's like, like our energy would just like chill out.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to work.
And yeah, it's not looking like it. Yeah, you're going to burn yourself.
Yeah. So
But
they all have different properties depending on what you want. But as far as the
Man, that sweetgrass has my nose.
sweetgrass,
I
you
took
can smell it.
Yeah, well, I sniffed it. Now my nose is all going crazy.
But shoot, I wish I could have gotten that to burn. Maybe in a bit. You can also kind of run the smoke over your body and sage yourself. I would say to do that first before you go around your home, kind of cleanse your own energy field.
Yes, yeah. I was watching a video. There are different ways, ceremonial ways of saging, but I was watching the one with a Native American man. He said before he would go to ceremonies, he would take the sage and breathe it in for the sacred breath, because that would clear him and he would speak from spirit. And then he would take it and do it over his eyes and visualize spiritually his eyes being cleared so that he could see the wonders of spirit. And then he would do the same over his ears so he could hear the wonderful spiritual things that would be spoken about in the circle. And then he would do it over his hair, because he'd say your hair is your antenna. And it is your identity. Your identity is in your hair, and so is your DNA and all of that. And he said it was like an antenna into the spiritual realm. And then he pictured it, I believe, going I can't remember what the next thing he visualized was, but that was kind of the ceremonial way that in his clan they were taught to do it before they would go, come together in ceremonies.
Right.
Everyone was cleansed, and when they came in, it wasn't like in a lot of Caucasian Western kind of religious people come together with all of their crap still stuck to them, and then try to spiritually cleanse themselves or overcome it. They would, apart from the group, bring themselves into resonance and spiritually cleanse themselves before they would come together, which I thought was interesting.
It's good too, because I mean, I have more on that later, but
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to say about smudging?
well, I mean, I was just going to say, you were talking about how they would cleanse themselves before they gathered together. So kind of the opposite of that is we've had to have a few repairs done around here and stuff. And Marissa started noticing that after people would come into the house, not that they're bad or anything, but I guess they come with things. And then we would start seeing shadow beings and stuff, so we would have to clear.
Or just not feeling right.
Yeah,
Like
like
if
the
a
energy's
person
off.
was, them and their wife were on the point, like, they're doing really bad, maybe they've lost family members, and they come into this sanctuary that we've created, and it's clean. They come in and they bring all that residual emotional energy with them.
That you don't see.
And then when they leave it behind. It's hard to picture it, but you have to kind of see people as kind of emanating stuff, and it's energy. And as they're walking through a space, they're leaving behind them a trail of it. It's like, the space is tugging and pulling little pieces of that energy off, and it's leaving it behind. And you can have, like at hotels.
Oh yeah.
My God.
Oh, think about how many people go in and out of those places.
Those are hell for us. I hate hotels.
It's hard to smudge in there. They don't like it.
Yeah, there's so much residual energy. Yeah, they don't like it. But and also we're going to talk about like some of these methods. that we're going to talk about more with crystals and different things. If you live in a house like we do, there are different things you can do to protect yourself easier than if you live in an apartment.
Oh, yeah.
If you're in an apartment, you've got the ceiling, potentially the floor, each wall is connected to a different family and all of their energy. And all of that energy comes through into your apartment, and you have to take extra steps. You have to sage. You have to sage more often. You have to do a lot of these steps we're going to talk about more often. And we'll talk about some of the protective stuff here in a bit, but while I'm thinking about it, if you're in an apartment and you're wanting to prevent energies and different negative beings from coming in and out of your walls, it sounds silly, but horseshoes or railroad ties, if you, spray them with, tar water, or we'll talk about this later, salt water with the intent to purify them and for them to become protective barriers. You can hang those on walls where there's another family living on the other side, and it will block a lot of that. That may sound silly to some people, but it's very effective.
I thought about something too that we haven't covered. When you do sage, your intention, like there's a lot of different ceremonies that different native tribes do, like the man that you were referencing. But your intention is really where it's, the main thing. What I do, I go around and I just say peace and serenity. Anything that is negative has to go. And
because we have ancestors, loved ones that we don't mind around.
Right, yeah. So, it's mainly your intention. You can look up different prayers. There's all kinds of stuff. I have a lot going on, so I haven't even delved into that yet. You can do this.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, the intention is the main thing.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's the magic, is your intention. And when you use some of the things that we talk about, it is just a manifestation of your intention.
Right.
And it allows it to linger more, but it's all about your intention.
And you can people call on all kinds of different masters, so you can definitely...
Ancestors too.
Yeah. Because that gives you the power. I found it has to come directly from the heart. You have to really mean it.
Right.
And
no doubt.
No doubt. You have to really, really mean it, and then you'll get results. For certain.
Okay, go to the next slide.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so let's say over the last few years, this crazy pandemic happened to pop up. We're just, talking hypothetically, right? And it forced you and your loved ones to now be inside a home where you cannot leave for months at a time, and all of your issues with each other have come out, all of your unresolved traumas have popped out, and you're arguing. There's a lot of arguing going on. That residual energy builds up into a home, and you will never be able to break the cycle. Because even if you'll go to counseling or stressors go away, the pandemic is gone, the hypothetical, in this hypothetical situation, but you still find yourselves fighting like you were when you were stuck in the house together. Well, that's because all of this residual energy from your emotions has built up. So one of the things that you can do is you take a water bottle, spray water bottle, and you put water in it, and really any type of salt will work. A lot of people like to use the Himalayan sea salt. But you take the salt and you do a prayer and put your intention into the salt that it cleans and protects negativity. And you put it in, mix it up, and then you take that spray bottle and you go around in all the areas where you've had these horrible, toxic arguments, or where you've had deep depression, and you've just sat there with your pillow and you've just and had all this angst kicking over and over and over, all of that has been loaded into the environment. So you take that spray bottle and you go, and in your mind you have the intent and say a prayer that you are cleansing all of this negativity. And as you spray it, you visualize it breaking down a negative energetic barrier. And you take that, you can cleanse areas. You can use that in hotels to help cleanse, but it'll only do so much in a hotel. But in your home and your car even, this can be used to clear out negative energy where you've been depressed, sad, angry, and that energy has built up. And we cleansed areas in the old house. We would do that, cleanse areas to where we had been arguing or where we had been depressed and spent a lot of time, and it completely changed the energy of that area.
It's kind of amazing how fast it works.
It's amazing.
Marissa likes to put little crystals in the bottle too.
Yes.
You can always do that.
Well, she likes to use moon water.
Yeah, she does.
She takes water and puts it out on the full moon, night of a full moon, to charge it, and then she uses that water for different things. She's got a lot of interesting ways of doing things. I don't know where she came up with them. So you're going to have to repeat these cleansing steps on a regular basis, sometimes a daily basis, depending on what's going on in your life. So using a spray bottle is one of the great ways of just getting rid of residual energy from a space. Now, to protect your home from negative entity intrusions, we're going to talk about some of the steps that we've used. Touched on some of these already, but we are going to, I believe each one of these bullet points is broken down on a slide. So one of the other things that is extremely effective is tar water, and you can find recipes online, or you could actually buy tar water pre-made. And many years ago, they would consume tar water because they believed all ailments pretty much occurred because of evil spirits. So people, they would take different things to get rid of evil spirits, and they would drink the tar water. And we don't do that so much anymore.
I bet that was good.
Yeah, no thanks. But now you can get it in a spray bottle, or just use it in a dropper. But if you put that in window seals, it's pretty interesting. Ghosts can come and go through walls, but for some reason they prefer windows, these negative beings. I don't know if it's because it's in our consciousness, it's a portal, an opening, it makes it easier for them to access. I don't know how consciousness plays into that, but it's interesting that they prefer the windows. And even ETs, a lot of times they come through windows, even though they're passing through the physical window. That it's weird. So you can use this to spray around, windows and on door jambs to protect your home. Also on walls of apartments, to where it's going to stick around a lot longer than salt and water. It carries the intent longer. And it can be used to purify objects and tools that you're going to use in ceremonies, or if you've been given a gift by someone and you don't want to bring it into your home without doing some sort of cleansing on it, you can use, tar water or the salt water for that. And it is a good idea to, before bringing things in that have been in someone else's home for many years into your home, to do some sort of cleansing. If you inherit something from a relative,
Yeah.
it's usually good to do some sort of cleansing on that item.
Yeah. And
Items can even have demons attached to them. I think everyone's seen the ghost shows with the dolls or dummies that have demons attached to them, and whoever owns them, horrible things happen in their lives. An item, a person can love and focus and focus so much intent onto an item that they leave a piece of their energy with it. And when that item is passed on to the next person, you can bring that energy, good or negative, into your life. So cleansing items is also a good thing to
especially crystals too. I would
Yeah.
say when you buy crystals, it's real important to cleanse them. We can talk about that
Yeah.
when we talk about them later.
do. Okay, I think that's coming up here. So, crystals, stones, and Argonite. This is something that, was kind of foreign to me a lot of years. All of these different, it seemed, I don't know, a little out there, to me, not too many years ago.
Yeah.
That people would use crystals and stones and this weird resin pyramid
Yeah.
thing to protect
Yeah.
themselves. I mean, it just was ridiculous to me. But, you have actually learned quite a bit about different stones and crystals and how they can be used to protect us. And we have implemented that. We have like these Argonite pucks, these little, cheap Argonite pucks.
Yeah, they're not expensive. We put those in the windows.
Yes, put those in windows. And, beside our bed, we'll have some of these types of
That's Argonite
Argonite.
also.
And, we had our friend Teresa from 90 Degree Turns.
And Trisha.
I'm sorry, Trisha from 90 Degree Turns, and Mason, her partner, are creating some very cool Argonite
Yeah,
pyramids.
this one too. And I
Beautiful stones in them. We'll provide their website information.
And so Marissa has actually started working with this, what's it called? Resin. So what makes it Argonite is that it's this resin that people are making jewelry and all that out of. But inside, like this one, all of them actually should be copper. And then there's like some other metal shavings and then crystals. And that combination of the crystals and the metal and then the resin.
And then the intention of it.
Yeah, but you can like look up Argonite. The man that created this decades ago was onto something. Let's see, that's Argonite, and then this
stones.
Stones. So this is black tourmaline. Absorbs negative energy. So this is a really good stone. There is also.
And it's good to have these things close to your bedside table
Yeah.
when you're sleeping. That's when you're most vulnerable. We'll talk about that later.
This is shungite, and it's just in Merkaba. This also absorbs negative energy, and I believe they say it helps with EMFs as well. So this is a very good one, shungite. I wanted to tell a little story about obsidian. So as you see, all of the like highly protective stones protect you against negative energy or black. Obsidian is one, and you thought it was kind of silly at first, like crystals and stuff like that, but if this kind of proves it, we were on a month-long trip as a family with the dog, everything, and we had been on the road.
Disclosure. It's
Yeah.
Eclipse of disclosure.
We were on the road for 4 weeks, and probably about week 3, things were getting a little intense, as you can
A
imagine.
little.
And we had a hard time getting out of this hotel on time. We were just really dragging that day, and everybody's in just a state, just a really high anxiety, not happy. There might have been some crying going on.
Might have been me.
You know. So the only 20 minutes away from our hotel was Obsidian Dome in California, and so I was like, we're gonna go to Obsidian.
No one wanted to go.
No, yeah, we're gonna go there, and I was like, no,
I'm driving.
We're going. We're gonna just at least stop by to say we've been there. A lot of tension. 15, 20 minutes down the road, we get to Obsidian Dome, and the minute we drive in, we hadn't even seen the obsidian yet. You see these trees and just the diffusion that happened. All the anger went away. Everything. Nobody knew why we were upset. It was just like
gone.
It was
Diffused.
gone. It was amazing. And then we drive to is a huge dome pile of obsidian. And I mean, I just didn't want to leave there. It just felt so peaceful and just diffused. It was amazing. And then I was like, wow, there's really something to this.
Yeah, the stone, I mean, I thought it was silly years ago, but when, before I had had certain breakthroughs over the last couple of years, I was having a lot of anxiety, a lot of like PTSD and different things. And I started going to certain areas. I know not everyone has this luxury, out in nature, and we would find rocks with high crystalline content. And I would sit on the rock, take my shoes off, put my hands and feet on the rock, and meditate that I was pushing all of the negative energy, all of the anxiety into the rock, like a capacitor. And it worked like a charm.
And you can do it that straight into the earth too.
Feel it just leave your body, and I could feel it going into the rock. And I was doing that every 2 or 3 days for a while.
Yeah. We're like, you ready to go to the rock? Let's go drive to the rock.
And
this is lapis lazuli.
I was wearing these necklaces for a while when we were having some of our most heavy energetic and spiritual attack from negative beings.
Yeah.
And it made a huge difference.
Kind of crazy. Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
How much of a difference it made wearing this.
Yeah. And this is a bracelet, lapis lazuli. So, and then that. One thing, the way that I learned about crystals was honestly going in to, I love rocks and I love crystals, so I must go to a crystal shop. And I would honestly, there's so many choices, I would just look around and listen to what was calling me. And as I would, it's really tremendous. When you do that, the crystals that you need come to you. I mean, I've found a bunch of different, I'll buy a crystal and then I'll look up the metaphysical properties of it, and I'm blown at the properties. Here's a good one for anxiety, is lepidolite. And this is it in its natural form, and this is in a heart shape. The cool thing about the heart shape is if you're going through a lot of anxiety, put it in your pocket. I have a lot of little pocket ones, or jewelry. Jewelry's a great way to wear it. I've also meditated with crystals before. This is amethyst, and the crazy thing is that I chose this one not because of amethyst. Somebody gifted this to us, but how it fit in my hand, like just perfectly. So I would lay down and meditate with this. And I had a lot of breakthroughs with this particular crystal. And actually, if you look at it, it looks like there's a little being in there that's kind of strange. The crystals will form cracks and stuff in there, little fractures. That one became really cloudy because I meditated with it for, I was using that as my meditation crystal for a while. don't know what else. I mean, I could go on and on, but the protective ones are great. And then Selenite is a really good one. This is peach selenite. It has its own special properties. And celestite is a stone you like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the highest vibration stones. When I bought a chunk of celestite for the first time, the lady in the crystal shop told me that it was for those of us who are not from here, that it makes us not feel so homesick. And it is a very high vibrational stone. Mm-hmm. And they also say that it helps you be in contact with your angels. Imagine it's such a high vibration. This is a good one. Because we should mention this. I've heard about using salt to form a perimeter around your home to protect it.
I think I skipped over that.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the same concept as with the bottle, the salt with the bottle. I think I skipped over that slide. Sorry about that. A good way to protect your home also by putting up barriers is to get a big bag of salt and walk around pouring it around the perimeter of your home, like under the eaves of the home, because it will wash away. But even after the salt washes away, it has placed your intent. It has, put a wall of intent around your home. And even if that salt is washed away or blows away, that intent is still there for a time. It is something that you need to do monthly or weekly, depending on how much intrusion you're having.
Depending on the weather too, I guess.
Are you close to a cemetery? Are you closer into town where there are more people? There are different things that will determine how often you have to do some of these things. But using salt, any type of salt, with the intent to create a barrier around your home is very effective.
I just thought of something interesting that Marissa had brought to my attention, because I wanted to know why she wanted these little bowls and why she was putting a lemon wedge in each bowl. And so I finally asked her, what's going on here? And she said that will actually show you the type of energy that's in your house. So let's see. She showed me where she had put lemon wedges around, and they were molding. That denotes bad energy. So she cleared the house, and then she put the lemon wedges back out. We looked at them 2 weeks later, no mold.
Just hard, yeah.
Just hard. They just crystallized and got hard, but there was no mold. So that's
where does she get all of this? How does she know all of these things?
Research online.
I
don't know.
She's learned how to set boundaries with ghostly spirits and that sort of thing. She's very strong-willed.
She had to, because she couldn't get any sleep.
But yeah, she couldn't get any sleep. But our son hasn't learned how to do that yet. So I think he's the beacon that's attracting so much.
What a